yeah, and I did it again, didn't I? Why do I do this to myself? Yes. Yes, I can. Hi. I can't figure this out half the time. Ah, guys, I don't know how you put up with me. Okay, so today I wanted to just come on here and talk about measurement of success. And the reason why I want to talk about it with you guys is one reason. Because every Thursday I talk with my business coach and I'm always inspired. So I always have to, it feels like I want to just get off the phone so I can share everything I know with you. But hi, Landry. Measurement of success is so important in this business. That's why we have our 2-week goals. Okay. If we don't write those down, hey Letitia, if we don't write those down and because we love you, thank you. Hi Nadia. So basically, if we do not have a measurement, we are going to feel really bad about things. We're going to feel bad about not showing up, not getting the sale, not getting the class, canceled class, the recruiting conversation, whatever. Hi, Jane. It's not actually working for us. And this is not conducive to having a good entrepreneurial business. Hi, Corey. Because the reason is we sit back and we're like, okay, I'm going to have, and I did this today, so this is why I know. And she's like, well, what went well? And I told her what went well. And then, what was hard for you? I was saying, she said, what will make you feel successful in this next week? And so I said, well, I'm having a recruiting conversation with somebody. And so that'll feel good. And so she's like, what if they don't show up? And I was like, oh, well, my adaptability, I'll just be fine. And she's like, okay, that's great for you. But most people aren't like you. She's like, what I know from this business is that most people are not going to feel good when people don't show up. What will happen is that they will feel like, oh my gosh, my class canceled, and they will, instead of activating like I might or being adaptable like I might, they'll quit for the day and just watch TV because it feels better to them. Make sense? And so this is what we don't want on our teams. We don't want on our teams people who can't, for all of the adaptability people out there, you cannot be going to your teams the way that I have been coming to you. You have to switch it up. Now I've done a lot of work on how to coach better, and I'm doing much better on that. But, in the past I'd be like, okay, well, so they didn't show up. That's okay. Move on. And she's like, that's a gift, Donna, for all those adaptability people. And she even said today, she's like, the more I get to know you, the more I envy your adaptability, which helps me keep going. It helps me keep going no matter what. But if we expect that, if I expected that from you and you don't have adaptability, how fair is that? What's going to end up happening for you is that you're going to lose out on a class. They're not going to show up for the recruiting conversation. That person who said that they wanted to do it as a business doesn't. And you're going to be like, I failed. Hi, Amanda, I failed and now I'm just going to go and eat lollipops. Or I failed and I suck, and the guilt just it weighs on you. And then how are you going to go out there to the next person if you feel so guilty that you didn't have your goals met? You feel guilty. You feel like a failure that you didn't have your goals met. So what's so important in this business is to have a measurement of success that actually works for you. Now, I've talked about measurement of success a lot, but I want to just tweak it here a little bit. So a measurement of success, in what I've talked about in the past, and I'll still maintain today, is that it has to be something that you are not dependent upon the outcome for. Okay? You have to, Nadia says, totally used to be like that. Growing with adaptability has really helped. You have to, with this measurement of success, you have to show up in a way that says, okay, regardless of whether the person who says they're going to show up shows up, regardless of whether that class has anybody show up, regardless of whether that class gets canceled or not, that's not going to be my measurement of success. It's not. It's just not. And if I put it as that, then it's going to be I'm going to feel guilty at the end of the day. So, when we have these 2-week goals, one of the goals is how many sales conversations are you going to have? Like, even that could trip people up, right? If you're not adaptable. Is it good to have goals? Absolutely. But for adaptability people, we have to sit there and say, well, I don't like goals. Even, what did Tasha say today? She said, for people like you don't like goals, but you like action, right? Not for adaptability. Well, yes, adaptability. But also my activator in me, I like action. So for all the activators in you, you may not like goals, but you like action. So what are your action steps for this week, right? My action step is that I'm going to call 3 people today. Your job for your measurement of success is to call 3 people today. You surrender the outcome where it doesn't matter if they show up or not. Your job was met. Your measurement of success was met because you called 3 people today. Do you see that? Right? So this is what I've maintained for a long time. I want to extend it to our family. Tasha had a great example today, and as soon as she said it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so good for our lives. Like, one of the examples she had was somebody came to her and said, I want to spend more time with my family. And she said, well, that in the same way, that is going to actually not be met. It's too convoluted, because I said, I want to have more recruiting conversations. I want to have more enrollments this week. I want to have more, right? If we just use the word more, guess what's going to happen? It'll be this never-ending acquirement, never-ending pursuit, never-ending guilt, because there's always more, right? So the example she used was, I want to spend more time with my family. That's a never-ending thing. It's so convoluted. It's like, yeah, you'll spend time with your family today, but guess what? Tomorrow you're going to feel guilty because you didn't spend time with them yet the next day. And you'll spend time with them this morning, but you're going to feel guilty because you didn't spend time with them later. And you're going to spend time with them Wednesday, and then you're going to feel bad because it wasn't enough, because you should be more. And then you're going to spend time with them, and then you're going to have to leave for a class, and your child's going to cry at your feet. And you're going to feel like, I'm not spending enough time with them, because clearly they wouldn't be crying if I'm spending enough time. Do you see how that would trip us up in our lifestyle, right? So what if, and the example again she used was, what if we said, I want to spend one more date night with my husband than I used to, and I want to bring my kids to a nature hike, and we're going to unplug, and we're going to, like, some very, very concrete action steps. Yes? In the same way with our business, we need to have concrete action steps. We can't just say, I want to recruit more, because we'll always feel guilty at the end of the week. We can enroll 3 people and still feel bad because somebody's just said that they enrolled 10. So what's our own measurement of success? Does that make sense, everyone? Does it make sense that we need to have concrete action steps? The guilt that we feel, one other thing that she said to me today was the guilt that we feel, and I want you guys to hear this one, okay? So listen up really closely to this one. We are the gatekeepers to our team. If you go out there and you have a measurement of success and you match it and you start to compare and you feel guilty, or it's not concrete enough, or, and you start to feel guilty, that is going to get passed down to your team. I promise you. I have said this since day one. We are the gatekeepers. If you give up because somebody doesn't show up, if you quit because somebody doesn't show up, and you just say, I'm going to watch TV because it's easier, or you start feeling guilty because somebody doesn't show up, or you didn't do enough, that's going to get passed down to your team. Watch how you show up to your business, because your team is going to feel it. Your team is going to feel your feelings. Your team is going to experience your experiences. And even if they have more enrollments than you underneath you, and you feel guilty, they're going to feel guilty because they didn't have more, or more. So your responsibility is to show up, not perfectly, right? Imperfectly perfect, but observing these guilty feelings. And it all surrounds how you have a measurement of success. Yes? So if you're at the end of the week and you're like, yeah, I did, Amanda, you're like, woo woo. You had a great post the other day which was, you know what? I didn't complete my goals, but I'm celebrating what I didn't complete. You know, that is amazing, because all of us, some of us didn't even write down our next 2-week goals, and we didn't talk about whether we met our last 2-week goals. Why? Because of guilt. I didn't meet it, so I feel guilty. I feel shame. How could I say this to everybody out there? How can I be that vulnerable? Maybe I don't trust that people are going to look down. Maybe I feel like people are going to look down on me if I didn't meet my goals. Guys, I didn't meet my goals, and I said it. Didn't meet my goals. And I'm supposed to be the example? The reason why I'm bringing this up is because I am the example that we will sometimes not meet our goals. And that's why it was so important for me to have this journey to diamond, because you need to know the truth. And a lot of people see these presidential diamonds or blue diamonds or diamonds, and we think we've got it all together. We have not got it all together, you guys. And one of the other reasons that I'm like committed to this journey to diamond, slow or fast as it comes, is for you to see that there's going to be people on this page who are going to surpass me. There's going to be people on this page who are going to do it better than me. Better than me. There's going to be people on this page who are going to hit diamond in their time frame, and I'm not going to. Or I will. That has to make you feel like, us presidential diamonds, we're no different than you. You know? And our measurement of success can still make us feel guilty. I can feel bad for not hitting premier. I'm not premier yet. I'm an elite. It's still not premier. I'm okay with that. I'm not okay with that in that I still want to rise, because I'm not comfortable unless I rise. Yes? Not because I'm not comfortable in my skin, but because I set out a challenge for myself. And I want to meet that challenge. And that's okay to not be comfortable unless I meet it. That's okay to not be comfortable until. I'm still happy. I'm still alive. I still love life. I still have joy. I still have peace. But I'm uncomfortable unless I hit the challenge that I went after. You can do both. You can be both at the same time. So this is not about, oh, well, you know, I should just be happy if I'm not where I should be or want to be or could be. No, I'm not saying don't be satisfied, right? How can we have joy and be unsatisfied with not reaching our goals at the same time? Because if you're satisfied with not reaching your goals, maybe you're not pushing yourself hard enough. Maybe you'd rather sit down and you know, be on a watch TV, right? That's okay. However, I'm putting out a challenge to you. It's okay to be uncomfortable. I'm going to say that again. It is okay to be uncomfortable. Sometimes the reasons why we don't match the challenge that comes our way is because we're just scared of failure. And I was talking to somebody today actually who had to walk on eggshells around their parents. Because if they didn't walk on eggshells, if they weren't perfect, if they did, you know, the wrong thing, their parents would freak out and wouldn't abuse them or beat them or whatever. It was more emotional, right? More like they got angry and they're like, oh, why do you do this? Why do you do this? Why do you do blah, 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 blah. And so guess what that's going to create. And some of you out there need to hear this today. That's going to create this person here never wanting to fail. They will never go after their dreams. Because the second they go out there and fail, what are they fearing? They're fearing the chaos that their parents placed on them. They're fearing the anger that maybe was placed on them. They're fearing that when I messed up, I got in trouble. There was discipline. I lost something. And you may not come to this as an adult thinking, oh no, I'm going to lose my teddy bear, or oh no, I'm going to lose my trip to Canada's Wonderland, or oh no, I'm gonna. You're going to feel, though, something inside of you says, oh my goodness, this feels horrible, and you won't even know why. And it'll cause you to quit. It'll cause you to never try. Because you feel that when you try and it doesn't work out, there's got to be a consequence. Where's the consequence? I feel like crap. And you don't even know why you feel like that. You don't know why you feel stressed. You just feel stressed, and so it causes you to quit, and you go watch TV. You go watch movies. You go play outside. Not that there's anything wrong with those things. But when you're doing that instead of the uncomfortable task of being an entrepreneur and going after your dreams, and you lay back and you quit and you spend more time with entertaining yourself on your Facebook newsfeed or entertaining yourself with whatever it is that you do on social media, right? Calling it, but I'm getting inspired, Donna. I'm on Instagram so I can be inspired. You know who you are. Is there anything wrong with that? Absolutely not. But if you're spending the time that you know is that time to go after your dreams, and I don't mean like go grasp after it. It's like inviting your dreams to you by doing the actions necessary, right? And it's causing you to cower and to spend more time on these things that are more comfortable. Just observe that over the next week, okay? Just watch that. So that's all I got for you today. But this is a really important message for all of us, myself included. So I hope it helps some of you. Bye.